Welcome to the 10th session of Healthy Head and Healthier Mind. I just want to pick up on the last point which we were discussing in the last session. We forget everything when we're under stress, tension, or anxiety. Why do we forget everything when we're under stress, tension, or anxiety? Just recall the brain's construction and just recall that all neurons are connected by means of a connection called synapse. So that synaptic connection is not actually a physical connection, it is a chemical connection. So because of this chemical connection, what happens is whenever you are under stress or tension or anxiety, there is a threat to the existence of the body, or else there is a threat to the existence as such. There is a fear. Whenever there is a threat or a fear, then basically what happens is all the synaptic connections may not be working at that particular time, because survival becomes the first priority for the body. When the survival becomes the first priority to the body, all other connections may not be working as such. Only the very basic connections which are required for the body's survival are going to be utilized. So the autonomous nervous system is going to put all its efforts for the basic survival. Due to this reason, whenever any person is under stress or tension or anxiety, there will not be a effectively conscious memory recall, because at that time the synaptic connections are not of priority. For this reason, when the students are writing an exam, when they are inside the exam hall, if they are under stress or tension or anxiety, they may not be able to recall the correct answers. But once the exam is over, after 3 hours, when they come out of the exam hall, when they are relaxed, suddenly that answer will pop out. Because inside, when they were in the exam hall, they were under stress. So there was a threat to the system. When there was a threat to the system, the synaptic connection was not fully utilized. When they come out, when the body is relaxed, or when they are mentally also relaxed, now the body senses that there is no more a threat to the system, and that is when the synaptic connections are re-established, and that is when they recall the answer. Otherwise, the answer is already stored in the brain. In the same fashion, let us say some interviewer is interviewing you inside an interview room. Now, you are already under stress or fear that what questions the interviewer may ask, or will you clear the interview or not, will you get the job or not. If all the stress or fear is already there in your mind, then the body feels this as a threat, and at that time the synaptic connections will not work. But as soon as you come out of the interview room, you still don't know whether you are selected or not selected, but you are relaxed because you finished the process. Once you think that you have finished the process, somehow the answer will pop out. So the point to make here is that many times fear is baseless, many times stress is useless. I am going to talk about stress and fear in detail later on. But the point I am making here is, if at all memory has to be effectively recalled, then the stress or tension or anxiety should not be present. So, to the people who are listening to me in this session, my advice to the parents that don't put your children under fear of results. Don't put your children under the fear of educational achievements. Let them enjoy the learning. Let them keep on recalling. You also involve yourself with them in effectively learning and effectively enjoying the memory recall. That way, even if there is an exam, even if there is a test, the students or children need not be under stress. If they are under stress inside the brain, the synaptic connections are not working at that time. So why people only induce such exam related fear or any interview related fear also? There are only two things. Either you get selected or you get rejected. And these two things are basically dependent on your own efficiency of facing the interview. If you have the stuff within you, you will get selected. If you don't have the stuff within you, you will get rejected. It's a simple point to make. Similarly, in the exam, if you have prepared well for the exam, previous day itself, not on the next day. My method has been that I never study in the morning of that particular day when I have exam. I have given so many exams till now. Till PUC, afterwards engineering exams, then post-graduation exams, then many PhD coursework exams, then Sanskrit exams. So many exams I have given till now. Online exams, MOOC course exams. The way in which I prepare is that if tomorrow if I have a written exam, I will close my book today night itself and I will go to a relaxed sleep. I will not worry much about whether I will score highest. I will not worry that. I don't have an ambition that I only have to come class first. I don't have such competition also. I don't have such ambition also. The people who really struggle hard for coming class first, many times I have checked them. Even the brilliant people also, academically brilliant people, I have interviewed them. Most of the people whom I interview, they will not be answering some of my basic questions as well. Which means your grade or your percentage, it does not indicate your intelligence or wisdom. It simply indicates that you are a memorizing parrot. I'll tell you a small story now. One saint had parrots in his ashram. And for all these parrots, the saint had taught many Vedic mantras. And the parrots used to always sing these mantras. There was a hunter who was regularly watching the saint's ashram. And whenever saint was not there in the ashram, this hunter used to come to the ashram and randomly pick up some parrots, and he used to go away. When the saint used to come back, he used to observe that there have been a reduction in the number of parrots. Gradually, the saint sensed that during his absence, somebody is coming and taking away the parrots. Now, the saint wanted to safeguard the parrots. So, what he did was, the saint taught one particular mantra to the parrots. That particular mantra goes like this in English. Hunter will come, he will throw the seeds, he will spread his net, and he will catch us away. This is the mantra. Hunter will come, he will throw the seeds, he will spread his net, and he will catch us away. This mantra the saint taught to the parrots. Parrots kept on chanting this particular mantra. After a few days, the saint wanted to check whether the parrots can safeguard themselves when the saint is not present in the ashram. So the saint purposefully hid himself away from the ashram for 1 or 2 days, but he was remotely waiting there just to watch what is going on. And somehow the hunter sensed that the saint is not there in the ashram. Hunter, as a regular habit, again came to the ashram. When the hunter was coming inside the ashram, parrots were chanting the mantra. Hunter is coming, he will throw the seeds, he will spread his net, and he will catch us away. This is the mantra which the parrots are chanting. Immediately the hunter thought that parrots have become intelligent, they are sensing my arrival, I may not be able to catch them, and the hunter went away. The saint observed this from a remote distance, and somehow saint also became happy that my parrots will safeguard themselves in future. After a few days, saint again had to go out of the ashram. He went outside. When he went outside, again after a few days, hunter thought about it. Saint is not in the ashram. Why don't I go second time and why don't I try to catch the parrots? Again, hunter thought they may sense me or they may not sense me, but let me check. So hunter came again. When the hunter came again, the parrots are chanting the same mantra. The hunter will come, he will throw the seeds, he will spread his net, and he will catch us away. Hunter kept on waiting for 1 hour, thinking that the parrots will stop their chanting. Hunter himself hid himself slightly away, but he was observing that the parrots are again chanting the same mantra. Now the hunter came to know they are just chanting the mantra, they are not watching me. And the hunter came into the ashram. He threw some seeds. When he threw some seeds, parrots came down and he spread his net. They were all caught in the net. And he caught all of them. And he was taking the net away. When he was taking the field net away, on the way also, parrots were chanting the same mantra that the hunter will come, he will throw the seeds, he will spread the net, and he will catch us away. Here the reason is parrots never understand the meaning of the mantra. They are only memorizing the mantra. It is the same case with many of our engineering students where they keep on memorizing lot of paragraphs, definitions, notes. They will not understand the subject as such. If they understand the concept, if they understand the subject, they will have to memorize only the definitions. They need not have to memorize the whole of this chapter or whole of the book. The same effort for memorizing, if they can put the same effort for understanding, they will not be having the stress or tension or anxiety for the examination. So ever since I was going to school, my primary intention was not to come first in the class or second in the class or secure a rank. I did not become a memorizing machine. My first thing is that I want to understand things. So many times even during my engineering days, that particular prescribed textbook which was there in the syllabus, I never used to understand that book. My grandmother used to generously give me pocket money. Through that pocket money, I used to buy other textbooks. And I used to read the textbooks on my own, not for the sake of the examination, for the sake of understanding. And whatever I used to understand, that I used to write in the exam. So naturally, I did not come class first in my engineering days. Okay, my ambition is not to stand class first and become a memorizing machine. My point was to understand. So I never had the stress or tension or anxiety. Even during interviews also, I never used to bother much about whether I will be selected or I will be rejected. My common sense used to tell me that if you perform well in the interview honestly, then if they like you, they will take you. If you are dishonest, if you are telling lies, they reject you. In the college, I have been involved in interviewing so many people till now. So many people. So many people will not be able to answer even some of my basic questions. But most of them are postgraduates, some of them are PhD holders. Even the PhD holders are unable to answer some of my very simple technical questions, which simply means that they have been getting their grades or percentage or marks related only to their memorizing ability, not the understanding ability. If the students develop this particular love for learning and not just for the percentage or the grade for the placement, then naturally they will be more wiser than whatever the system is doing them that way. With this, let me continue for my next slide. The two sides of the brain. These are the two sides of the brain, left hemisphere and right hemisphere. Left hemisphere controls and senses the right side of the body, and right hemisphere controls and senses the left side of the body, which means left side of the body is connected to right side of the brain, and right side of the body is connected to left side of the brain. And here also you can see right eye is connected to the left hemisphere here. Left eye is connected to the right hemisphere here. I had shown you the crisscross wiring connections there. So whenever somebody are paralytic, whenever that paralysis happens, sometimes only one side of the leg or one side of the hand or one side of the face, that will be not working. So at that time, it is connected to the left side of the brain. The left side of the brain has made that right side of the body as paralytic for some other basic survival purpose. I just want to tell you a health tip, or I just want to tell you the reason for this. In general, paralysis happens whenever there is a serious survival threat to the body. Whenever there is a serious survival threat to the body, now the brain senses that and brain makes the person purposefully immovable. If at all he is made to move, he will keep on moving. Again, the body will lose its energy. So the purposeful paralytic reason is to make the person to stay at one particular place so that body will take its own time to re-establish the connections. Again, paralysis is not a disease, it is a disorder. Headache is not a disease, it is a disorder. Fever is not a disease, it is a sign of disorder. Diabetes, blood pressure, they are not diseases, they are all disorders. If people can understand their body and the brain in a much matured and much wiser way, my sentence will come back again. The body is a God-given gift. If people can understand that, then they can take care of their body in a much better way. So this left side of the body is basically for language, speaking, reading, writing, understanding, positive emotions, logical, analytical, problem solving through step-by-step processing. Right side of the brain is non-verbal, music, art, perceptual, and spatio manipulation. All those fonts are very small in size. Face, pattern, melody recognition, some language skills, negative emotions, emotional expression, perception, synthetic problem solving by combining whole forms. In general, most of the males are predominantly using left side of the brain, and most of the females are predominantly using right side of the brain. This is in general. Otherwise, most of the artists and musicians are basically using right side of the brain. Most of the mathematical people or scientific people or technical people are using left side of the brain, because the left side of the brain is basically meant for analysis and right side of the brain is basically meant for feelings. So that in another way, how to say, left side of the brain is logical, whereas the right side of the brain is emotional. That is when most of the time men use left side of the brain, because men are basically logical. At the same time, females use right side of the brain because the females are mostly emotional. I'll give an example. If at home, let us say the child is having a wound and the blood is oozing out of the child's body, immediately the mother will start crying more than the child. If the mother is loving or having a lot of care towards the child, when the child is crying, mother will also be sobbing and crying, and mother will keep on saying, "Oh my child, blood is going out, oh my child, blood is going out." At the same time, what the father will say, father also will have an equal love towards the child, but the father will say, "Why are you increasing the problem? Why are you sobbing or crying? First put a little bit of turmeric powder, let the wound be healed, later on we will take the child to the doctor if it is required." So this is where logic and emotions are being utilized that way. Sometimes logic is also required, sometimes emotions also are required, feelings is also required, thoughts are also required. That is why in the Hindu system we have a great model, we have a picture of Ardhanarishwara. Of course, I have not put it here in the slides. It is meant for a discussion for my yoga class students, not for the general public. Many of those mystic metaphors the general public may not be able to understand. That's why I have not put it here. That Ardhanarishwara specifically indicates the human body itself. That the left side brain and right side brain are together the body. One side is thoughts and one side is emotions. Both are required for the body. I'll tell you one more example now. If at all a husband goes to a sweet shop and he buys a Mysore pak, which is, let us say, 400 rupees per kg, and let us say the husband brings the sweet all the way to home, And let us say the children at home and the wife and other friends or relatives, they may be consuming the same Mysore Pak. Others may not be knowing the rate of the Mysore Pak, or even if they know the rate of the Mysore Pak also, they have not paid for it, so they will not think much about it. Let us say when wife is consuming one piece of Mysore Pak, let us say a small portion of the Mysore Pak falls on the ground, immediately what will happen? Husband will become so angry. And husband will say, how careless you are. It is 400 rupees per kg Mysore Pak. How can you waste it? Now the same husband, if he puts Mysore Pak into his mouth, will he really enjoy the taste, or will he really keep on calculating that it is 400 rupees per kg? So in such situation, thoughts are important or emotions are important? In such situation, he has to simply enjoy the taste of the Mysore Pak without worrying much about how costly it is. If he keeps on calculating the money which he has paid for the Mysore Pak, he will never be able to enjoy the sweet of or the taste. So that way, in life, thoughts and emotions both should go hand in hand. Wherever we have to be more thoughtful, wherever we have to be more emotional, it is we who are going to decide. That is why the great teacher Jagadguru Adi Shankara says, Jnana and Bhakti, together they are karma. Jnana, thought, Bhakti, emotion, together they are action, karma. That is where Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, the three great paths for self-realization. That is when God made this brain, which is going to have thoughts also, emotions also. He made mothers purposefully so that they should have feelings towards their offspring. At the same time, he made fathers in this way that father should be logically solving the problems. Now, it doesn't mean that females are degraded or male are upgraded. Nothing like that. Nothing like that. Both have their own equal importance in the family. This both of them have to clearly understand. How much of a limit there for logic, how much is the limit for the feelings, that each one of us should understand. Then that great picture of Ardhanarishwara is a highly meaningful metaphor. In that picture, Ardhanarishwara, one side is female, one side is male. Why male is Nandivahana? Why female is Simhavahini? Why it is a vehicle as a lion for her, and why it is a vehicle as bull for him? The reason is the bull is calm, where the lion is fierce. More and more emotions will lead to more and more of negativity. More and more thoughts will lead to more and more of solutions. That way, it is an indication that she is Simhavahini, he is Nandivahana. Otherwise, they must have had a 1000cc bike or some Duke bike or some high-level Mercedes-Benz cars they must have had, right? Why anybody will have a lion as a vehicle or as a bull as a vehicle? They should have had horses as a vehicle or camels as a vehicle, right? That is why it is a metaphor where those symbols indicate this hidden truth. Anyway, I'll not go into the much philosophical part of it. If you require such philosophical metaphors, you wait for my third presentation. That is what I keep on telling again and again. There is something in the chat box. Neurons are present only in brain, or is it also present in stomach? What type of question you ask, man? I have been telling that don't ask me stupid questions. Grow up and become intellectuals. Stomach has got only acid and mucosa layer. Go through all the videos of art and science of eating which we have posted in our YouTube channel. I keep on repeatedly telling you people, first understand all the basics of the body, then come to this. Neurons are present only in the brain. Revise your biology. I'll not answer such questions if I see such questions in future. Look at this picture. This picture is really a very vivid picture. Somebody who painted this particular picture, he understood both sides of the brains so very well. Left side of the brain, I am left brain. decisive, logic, accurate, analytic, reason, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, practical, strategic, control, science, realistic. Right side of the brain, I am the right brain, intuition, love, love, love. Thou art poetry, freedom, passion, vivid, creative, yearning, peace. Whenever I think about my research activity in engineering, or whenever I discuss some circuit analysis or some Verilog code or programming, then I'm predominantly using my left brain, where we are arriving at a particular solution for a given problem. But whenever I am in a meditative mood, whenever I'm in a very relaxed mood, sometimes I pick up a pen and I write a poetry. Sometimes in front of the computer, I keep on typing in Kannada and poetry comes out of my own hands. And some of them are in English, some of them are in Kannada. And all these Kannada poems, so beautifully the words come out. And actually, I'll not be thinking at that time. Any poet or any saint in their meditative state, they'll not be thinking. For example, when a peacock is dancing, it is not thinking. When a cuckoo is singing, it is not thinking. But that action is simply happening that way. If a painter is painting a beautiful picture, if he thinks a lot about the beauty of the picture, then he may not be able to make that picture so beautiful. If a sculptor is carving a statue in a stone, if he keeps on thinking, then that beauty may not come out in that stone. Of course, measurement is required. You may again ask me, sir, there is no thinking at all or what? Thinking will be there, but the thinking will be mostly subconscious. It will be less of conscious nature. More of conscious nature of thinking is at the left side of the brain. More and more of feeling is at the right side of the brain. So this painting, singing, and poetry, all these are basically artistic forms. Now the artistic forms will not come out just by thinking. Yesterday I was quoting D.V. Gundappa. In his Monk Timmana Kagga, he has nearly 1000 poems. Each one is one paragraph. Do you think he will keep on thinking about it and one by one it will keep coming? If you have to keep on thinking about it and one by one it will be coming, then you just think about the thinking effort for composing 1000 poems. It is not that way. Kabira has written a Doha of nearly 1000. Now, if Kabira is writing so much of Doha, Sarvajna has written more than 1000 Tripadis. Shishunala Sharifa has written so many songs. Basavanna, Allama, Akka Mahadevi, they have written so many vachanas. Do you think they have written only by thinking about it? It is not just by thinking. If it was only by thinking, everybody on this earth would have become a poet, because everybody is thinking that way. So that art of poetry is an art of intuition. Any art is basically by intuition, but any logic is basically by intellect. That is why the left side of the brain indicates intellect, right side of the brain indicates intuition. There are a few things only men will do, women will not be able to do. There are a few things only women will do, the men will not be able to do, because they are related that way. Some of the activities which require a lot of feelings, women are very good at it. Think about MS Subbulakshmi. Think about the way in which she sings songs. Even now, download the Vishnu Sahasranama Stotra chanting of MS Subbulakshmi, which is available, and listen to it. You will never be able to forget that magical voice or magical tone in which the great MS Subbulakshmi has sung the Vishnu Sahasranama Stotram. So there are a few things men are good at it, there are a few things women are good at it. But the practice of meditation will help you in both, such that if you use both of your left brain and right brain efficiently, effectively, you can be a logical person also, you can be an intuitive person also. I have told you already one very beautiful comment which I got, that I am an engineer as well as a doctor. An engineer requires a lot of logic. A doctor requires a lot of feelings. As such, I have both of them. Why? Because of the practice of meditation. And that is the basic purpose where God gave all of us two hemispheres, so that you develop bhakti also, you develop jnana also. But it is up to us to use. You have a unlimited amount of resource given to you in this body itself. Yata brahmande tatha pindande. Just like the universe is mysterious and highly potential, same way this body is mysterious and highly potential. So God has given us this beautiful brain where we are supposed to use it more, understand it more, control it more. It is up to us to use our brain. It is up to us to make what we want to become in future. B.K.S. Verma predominantly might have used his right brain only, and that is why he became only a painter. Now he cannot become an engineer because he has predominantly used the right side of the brain. Now let us say many scientists, they keep on using only the left side of the brain. Now they may not develop some feelings. For example, Marie Curie, Pierre Curie, so many Nobel Prize winning scientists, they have been continuously thinking about a solution to a problem. They have been predominantly using their left brain, and they might not have been having the artistic abilities. But the process of yoga or the process of Vedanta is going to help you in developing or utilizing both sides of the brain. You can see this tabular column, right brain versus left brain. Right brain is feeling, gestaltic patterns, inner senses, subjective, intuitive, worlds of energies, spontaneous, parallel, both, and it is a process. Whereas left brain, it is a linear, outer senses, objective, logical, world of matter. It prefers rules. It is sequential, either or. And it is like a product. It is not a process. The connection within male and female brains. Look at this. This is like a male brain. In the male brain, when males are using the left side, at that time they are not using the right side. When they are using the right side, they are not using the left side. Many times they may predominantly use the left side, or they may predominantly use the right side also. This is for thoughts, this is for emotions. But when they are using the left side, they are not using the right side. When they are using the right side, they are not using the left side. That is how male brain is being utilized. Now look at the female brain. Here, once it goes from left side, then it goes to right side, again goes to left side, again goes to right side. There is no complete planning about which side to use. That is where female are more emotional. They cry more, they break up more. There are a few diseases which only men get, and there are a few diseases only women get. Why? It depends on how they use their brain. Now the point here is, who is right, who is wrong? Don't get into that judgment. There are advantages, there are limitations. Right brain is feeling, left brain is thinking. So there are advantages and disadvantages. If men keep on thinking more and more, gradually men lose their passion for life. Men become more and more calculative and selfish and cunning. That way, they become more and more calculative, selfish and cunning. In the same way, if the women become more and more using their brain in this way only, then they'll become more and more emotional, more and more feeling, and day by day, if this continues, they become more and more frustrated, stressful. Women also can be cunning that way, more and more stressful. Now, let us not get into the judgment of who is right or who is wrong. Both are wrong. Those who do not understand their brain's wiring and those who do not control themselves, both are wrong. That is where there are some health issues, only men will suffer. There are some other health issues, only women will suffer. Now, you may ask, sir, if this is the case, if this is the disadvantage, what is the advantage? Advantage with men is if they pick up a particular task, they will keep on doing it until it completes. That is when they have solutions for many problems. Advantage with women is they are multitasking. They do half of the job, then they come here, they do this half of the, then they go there. They'll be doing many jobs at once, but they'll keep it half. Somehow they'll complete it. But it is multitasking. They have the ability of more and more of multitasking. Whereas men, they will focus more on a particular thing, and that focus itself is their solution for a problem. Men will pick up one problem, then that solution, next problem, next solution. With women, there can be multiple problems and multiple solutions at a time. But both have to take care to complete the task, whatever they start. There is a hormone called dopamine. Whenever a task is started, this dopamine will get secreted. And this dopamine will wait until the task is completed. If the task is incomplete, this dopamine, its circuit is not complete, it will keep waiting until the task is complete. So, whether it is men or women, if at all you start one task, you finish that task. Otherwise, your dopamine circuit is incomplete, dopamine keeps waiting for the task to complete, you will never have a satisfaction of the completion of a task. If you keep on doing half of everything, then that all that half of dopamine secretion will remain in the brain, and that is when you will have more and more of stress and more and more of frustration, because you know that you have kept many things incomplete. Even if you try to forget that, dopamine will remember that, because inside the brain it is all synaptic connections between the neurons. So the wise people, I hope all of you are wise when you are listening to me. If you start a task, finish it. Finish it earlier, finish it better. Then pick up a new task so that a fresh release of dopamine will happen. The old release of dopamine should see to it that that particular task is completed. That is when the rewiring of the neurons will happen. Otherwise, whether it is men or women, if there are incomplete tasks, both are under frustration, both are under stress, always. There is a serious need of utilizing the time properly, planning of the activities properly. You need not achieve more and more of this particular rat race only. You can achieve both subjective as well as objective goals or ambitions, provided you plan your time properly. Now, every day I am conducting these sessions from 7:30 to 9. It is hardly a 1.5 hour session. People who have been attending these sessions from the beginning, you will understand the worth of this 1.5 hour session. It is my time also, it is your time also. We both are using this time for a specific purpose, for a useful purpose. This is for a mental evolution. Otherwise, the same 1.5 hour which will be spent by all other people just like that. They may have some other priorities in the same 1.5 hour. Somebody may be busy in kitchen, somebody may be busy in watching TV, somebody may be discussing about Corona only, somebody may be busy in WhatsApp, somebody may be busy drinking alcohol, somebody may be smoking a cigarette, somebody may be gossiping, whatever. But the same 1.5 hour, how do we use it is up to us. That is why karma is always individual. Memory and karma are related completely in that way. Karma is not God's doing. Karma is humans doing only. That is when Bhagavad Gita says, Gahana karmano gatihi. Gahana karmanaha gatihi. The proceedings of the karma is really very deep, because it takes a lot of time for you to understand yourself. Only when you understand yourself, you will take corrective actions on yourself. Only then your life will become better. Otherwise, life will not change in any way. Life will remain like this only forever. That is where the karma gets related to rebirth again. Okay, there's a question. Sometimes after going through certain moments, incidents in life, I feel this we have been undergone somewhere before, or we have experienced the same before. Why so? For this particular question, remember the question and ask me this question in my third presentation, because this is something deeply spiritual. For this, I have to discuss more about dreaming state, sleeping state, and awakened state. I had already told you a little bit about dreaming state. Now, how these three states are spiritually related, that subject I have to discuss. Until then, you'll have to wait. Okay, I cannot answer this question right now because it is a much bigger answer, for which it requires a much bigger coverage of some other thing. So, remember this question and ask me this question again in the third presentation. Okay, let me proceed further. Now, I alerted my audience that don't ask me stupid questions. Why? If you have faith in me, understand my wordings, and if you accept me as a teacher, then you follow only my wordings. Don't get into WhatsApp University, don't get into Google University, don't get into somebody else's discussions, don't watch hundreds of videos, and don't get confused, and then don't ask me questions also. If you remain confused, that is again your part of karma. If you accept me as a teacher, then you should listen only to my advices, understand it clearly. You are not here to test me. I am here to test you. Then only this question and answer interaction will be useful. Otherwise, you keep on asking questions as if, are you testing me? So, if you say that somebody person has done, someone else has told that, you have to ask them only. Whichever video you saw, or whichever WhatsApp message you saw, you have to ask that person only about the answer. That answer you should not ask from me, because I did not tell you those things. In all my sessions, I have not told any absurd things or stupid things. This is education. Whatever I am doing is basically education, where if you go to a school, you should have a faith on the teacher when the teacher is teaching you a subject. Mine is a Gurukula system, where multiple subjects one person is handling. That is where I have been repeatedly telling you people that you should have a learning attitude. You should not have only a questioning attitude. Let me continue further. This is a picture you can see where left side is left side or right side. In my picture, for my left side it is female, right side it is male. Actually, right side of the brain is female. Here it is indicated as if the body side, because there are crisscross connections. And here in the yogic philosophy, these two nostrils, they have breath, and the breath is specifically connected to one particular nadi. This side is called Pingala, this side is called Ida. If you see this picture, this side, then it is correct. On the converse side, whatever is, we are seeing it as right side, from the picture it is left side. So that left side is called Ida Nadi, right side is called Pingala Nadi. That way left side is Shiva, right side is Shakti. And you can see the left eye moon, right eye sun. It is also called as, left side is called as Chandra Nadi, right side is called as Surya Nadi. So in yoga, we have a practice of Nadi Shuddhi Pranayama. Now in this particular pranayama, if you keep on inhaling from the left side nostril by holding or closing the right side nostril, after about an hour, your body is Similarly, if you keep on closing the left side nostril, if you keep on inhaling from the right side nostril, after about an hour, your body's temperature will slightly increase. This you can practically check. You can practically try out and check. In Russia, once they made an experiment that why do we have these two nostrils and these two breathing patterns, are they related or are they connected? What they did was, with some rats, they removed the muscles which is inside the left side nostril and they left the rats as they are. With some other sample of rats, they removed the muscles of the right side nostril and they left them as they are. After about a month, they observed that in whichever rats the left side nostril's muscle was removed, they became more and more passive. They always used to sleep and they used to remain lazy. In the same case, in whichever rat the right side's muscle was removed, they became hyperactive always. They were not taking rest at all. Which means that Pingala, when it is heavily active, people keep on working a lot. Ida becomes heavily active, people become lazy a lot. This was proved as an evidence that these two nostrils breathing is going to regulate the brain's functionality also. That is when yoga, there is a pranayama called Nadi Shuddhi Pranayama. That is when the saints developed the method of Gayatri Mantra and Gayatri Japa and Gayatri Pranayama, where they are trying to regulate the breathing of both the nostrils. It is a great science. That way, the brain is connected to the breath as well. I will suffice my explanation only for this much, because this is not a yoga class. This is basically a class about the brain and the mind. Whenever I start doing my practical classes, then I'll discuss more about those pranayamas. In Ayurveda, they also found out, or in Jyotisha, they also found out one more mystic, that along with the moon's phase also, there can be a connection to the left side and right side nostril. In turn, it is connected to the brain as well. This is a nasal cycle at sunrise. Just look at this. Nasal cycle at the sunrise, waxing crescent, new moon, waning crescent, last quarter, waning gibbous, full moon, waxing gibbous, first quarter. This is with the phases of the moon. At sunrise, when this moon's phase is in this way, you can see L, 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 R, 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 L, 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 R, R, R. This way it goes on, cycle goes on. That means from the first quarter, when it is coming to the waxing crescent moon, from the left side nostril, it is coming to the right side nostril. Then again goes on to left side, right side. This way it goes on. Many times you can observe, at times your left side nostril will be blocked. At that time, right side nostril will be open. After about a few hours, you just check once again, your right side nostril will be closed and left side nostril will be open. This means the body is dynamically taking a decision about regulation of the temperature. If the temperature purposely increases in the body, then it will try to block the left side nostril. It will try to, it will try to block the right side nostril. It will try to open the left side nostril. Similarly, if the body cools down further, then it will try to block the left side nostril. It will try to open the right side nostril. All this happens automatically without you knowing about it. Now, if at all you start practicing Nadi Shuddhi Pranayama, and if you keep on practicing that, automatically both the left and right nostrils will be always open. That is the case with me. Both the nostrils will be always open. That means my body's temperature is regulated that way, and my both sides of the brains are simultaneously active that way. That is the benefit of that particular Nadi Shuddhi pranayama, which later on the saints prescribed. It has to be practiced by every Brahmin in the morning whenever they practice Sandhya Vandana. If the Brahmins understand this, then I will be really very happy. Because most of the Brahmins don't practice this at all. They don't know about it at all. Many of them simply think that picking a nose in the morning. They don't understand the value of those sacred practices. There is one more thing called Swara Yoga. A book called Shiva Swarodaya. Swara Yoga. And the Swara Yoga discusses that during Surya Swara, or whenever your right side nostril is active. Here Swara means breath. When your right side nostril is active, at that time you should take bath or you should have intake of meals. At that time you should be sporting or traveling. At that time you should be studying or writing. At that time you should be doing harsh works. Okay. At that time you should be sleeping also, because your body will have enough energy. Whenever your body has enough energy, when the right side nostril is active, which means temperature is slightly more. When the right side nostril is active, left side brain is working. When the left side brain is working heavily, taking bath is better, or taking is better. It will get digested easily. At that time it is sporting or traveling. At that time it is, at that time you can take up harsh works because you have enough energy. At that time you should sleep, because when you have enough energy, only if you sleep, body will have a better healing. You should not sleep when you are exhausted, because body is already having a reduction of energy. Now during Chandraswara, when your left side nostril is active, you should be journeying. You should be consuming hot potent foods only at that time, because when your body is cool, if you have a hot potent food, no problem. If at all the body is already hot, let us say during Surya Swara, if you consume hot potent food, then it is causing damage to the body. Now singing or playing music is always a relaxation. That relaxation can be done when your body is working with Chandraswara, or when the left side nostril is active. That means the right side brain is active. Why journeying? Because you are relaxed. When you are journeying, at that time, when your right brain is active, you are actually relaxed. You will enjoy your journey. Traveling is different, journeying is different. Now daily I am traveling from home to college, college to home. That is traveling for some other purpose. Whereas journeying is basically for relaxation. So journeying should be done when Chandraswara is active. Similarly, singing and playing music, I have told. Sowing seeds and planting should be done during Chandraswara, because when the body's temperature is lesser, then when you touch the plants or when you touch the seeds, they will germinate better. And all auspicious works like spiritual practices, they should be done when you are relaxed. That is during Chandraswara. That is why in some specific yogic practices, we always start with the left side nostril. Always start with the left side nostril. That means we always start with the right side brain, because right side brain is bhakti, and that is connected to left side nostril. Medication, if at all you are taking medicines, I am talking about Ayurvedic medicines here. If at all you are taking medicines for your body, you should take it when the Chandraswara is active. It is not that when your body is already hot, if you take medication, medication may not work at all. When your body is cool, you should put medicines into it, then the medicine will work. I am specifically telling Ayurvedic medicines only, not other medicines here. There are some funny exercises for the brain. During our practical sessions, we may go deeper into it. Now I'll just mention that. You can try out later on, not now, because we will be unnecessarily wasting time if you keep on trying out there. Right fist forward, you have to rotate. Left fist backward, you have to rotate. First, you try out individually. Individually, right fist forward, circular rotation, and left fist backward, circular rotation. Initially, you do individually, then you try to do it together and find out whether you can do it together. Try this out later on. If you can do it or if you cannot do it, in my next session, you ask me. I'll tell you why or I'll tell you what. Similarly, left fist forward, keep on rotating in a circular fashion. Right fist backward, initially do it individually, then keep on doing it together. And find out whether you can do it together or you cannot do it together. Fist and fingers, you can keep on alternating them. One hand's thumb must be sideways and other hand's little finger must be sideways. Means if you are extending your left hand thumb, then you have to extend the right hand's little finger. Now change it to the other side. Now left side little finger must be extended. At the same time, right hand's thumb must be extended. Which means you are individually trying to control left side brain and right side brain in a different fashion. Now one forefinger should be writing circle, other hand forefinger should be trying to write square. Try out. Left side, left hand, if it is trying to write circle, at the same time, the right hand must be able to write square simultaneously. Try out, and if it is possible or if it is impossible, in the next session you ask me. Now it is only the fingers. Middle finger, let it be extended. Keep both the middle fingers of both the hands extended. Now, one forefinger should come front, other one ring finger should come front. Later on, this ring finger should go in, forefinger should come out. At that time, here forefinger should go in, ring finger should come out. Try this out. One hand Mrigi Mudra, other one is victory. Mrigi Mudra means thumb, middle finger and ring finger should be touching the tips. And the forefinger and the little finger is extended. Victory you already know. Forefinger and middle finger extended, other fingers are bent down. Now alternate it. The other hand must be Mrigi Mudra, the next hand must be victory. Keep on switching this way. Last one. This is leg and hand rotation. You have to stand in the standing position, keep on rotating one leg anti-clockwise and the same side hand clockwise. In the standing position, you should stand on one leg, other leg keep on rotating anti-clockwise. At the same time, try to rotate the same side hand clockwise. Is it possible or not? Try out. Now one leg clockwise, same side hand anti-clockwise. This also try out. Whether it is possible or not, you tell me all these 4 things. Totally there are 8 exercises. You try out all of them and you share your experience with me in the next session. I have an exercise for you. There is a dot which is visible at the center. Keep on gazing at the dot. Only look at the dot for the next 30 seconds and just find out what happens on the screen. You will see that the haze has disappeared. In the beginning, you will see a bluish tint or a bluish haze here. But if you keep on focusing on this black dot, after a few seconds, you will observe that this bluish tint or haze has disappeared. Now, if you unfocus yourself, you will now see that the haze is still there or that circular tint is still there. Which means what happened there? I had told you earlier that right side and left side, both eyes will have different images and the brain will develop a 3-dimensional image inside. Now, when you see through both the eyes here, what happens is after a few seconds, the brain will get accustomed to this vision and it will develop a 3-dimensional pattern in which the haze has disappeared. This is an optical illusion, which means if you keep on seeing at something, after sometimes you may feel that the first one, whatever you saw, will not be there at all. So this gives us a lesson that whatever we see may not always be true. And whatever we do not see may not always be false. It can be both. Many times our sense organs may not always be telling us whatever is the truth. Truth may be something beyond whatever we experience. Next exercise. Look at these three lines. You will feel as if the lower line is lengthier and the topper line is smallest. A mid line is somewhere in between. That is what you feel. But the fact is, all three are same length. Later on, you can take a scale and you can measure all these three lines. All the three lines are of same length. Because there's an extension of this arrowhead, you feel as if this last bottom line is lengthier. And because of this inward movement of the arrowhead, you feel as if the topmost line is smaller. Actually, all the three lines are of the same length. This is called as Muller-Lyer illusion. Now, this simply means that whatever you see may not always be true. Next illusion. Look at this. When you look at this picture, you will feel as if the red line at the right side is lengthier than the red line at the left side. Again, both these lines are of the same length. It is because of these converging arrowheads, it is the arrangement of these arrowheads, because of which you will feel as if the right side is lengthier, but both are of the same length. This is called as Ponzo illusion. In fact, people have done a lot of work on these optical illusions. That is when in a magic show there are so many magical tricks which are basically working through illusion. Look at this picture. You will immediately feel that the orange circle at the right side is bigger than the orange circle at the left side. But again, both the orange circles are of the same diameter. Why do you feel that the right side orange circle is bigger? Because it is surrounded by smaller circles. Here this is surrounded by bigger circles. So there is a relative difference. When there is a relative difference, when there are much bigger circles, you feel as if this is smaller. Here there are much smaller circles, you feel as if this is bigger. It is not so. Both are of the same size. This is called as Ebbinghaus illusion. Look at this. Anybody will definitely say that the left side table is lengthier than the right side table. Anybody who looks at this picture, they will immediately come to a conclusion. The right side table is wider, whereas left side table is longer. My dear friends, cut a piece of paper as the same shape of the table and then move the paper to the right side, it will be of the same size. You can definitely verify this. Both tables are of the same size. Still, you feel as if, again, you are watching and you are telling, no, sir. Again, you will be telling, no, sir, left side one is lengthier, right side one is wider. No, both are the same size. Now, only the arrangement of the legs is different. Because the legs are arranged in a different fashion, you will feel as if this is a long table and this is a wide table. Both tables are of the same size. Now, because of this, we have to conclude that whatever we know also may not be true. In the earlier illusions, we thought that whatever we see may not be true. Now we say that we definitely know. We definitely know this is lengthier, this is wider. No, it may not be true. It depends on that arrangement at that time. Based on the arrangement, we feel as if it is happening. It may not be true. This is a very famous illusion. This is called Shepard's tables. Come very nearer to this picture. you will feel as if the left side face is frowning and the right side face is calm. Now slowly move your head away. Slowly go a little away from the screen. And from a distance, you watch the screen. From a distance, when you watch, what do you see? You feel as if the right side face is frowning and the left side face is normal. Which means, whatever you look at the nearby way, whatever you look at the far away, may be different. If you see something very near, you may think that is true. If you see something from far away, you think that is true. Both may not be true. Any one of them may be true, or both may not be false also. Any one of them may be false. There are chances that both may be false also. Many times, our sense organs do not have their wisdom. It is we who are supposed to exercise wisdom in whatever we see, in whatever we hear, in whatever way our sense organs are giving us the inputs. It is up to us to understand that. We should not become the slaves of our sense organs. Just because we have seen, just because we have heard, we should not come to a conclusion that whatever is heard is correct or whatever is seen is correct. Many times it may not be so. Look at the picture. You feel as if outside some circles are moving. But you see the same circle which is trying to move. Sorry. You see the same circle which is trying to move. When you focus on that particular circle, that will not be moving. You will see as if the neighboring circles are moving. Actually, nothing is moving. It is simply the arrangement of the color there which is making you feel as if it is moving. So this vision which is happening through the eyes, now you should come to a conclusion that vision may not be completely true. Even vision has got its own limitation. That is when I keep saying, God is looking at us without any sense organs. God is looking at us without any eyes. Sahasrashirsha Purushaha Sahasrakshas Sahasrapat is told in the Purusha Sukta. With 1,000 heads, with 1,000 legs, Sahasrashirsha Purushaha Sahasrakshaha, thousands of eyes, thousands of legs, thousands of heads. He is managing the universe. Actually, he does not have legs, he does not have eyes, he does not have heads. He is something beyond the senses. If you have to understand God, you have to have something, some knowledge which is beyond your sense organs. As long as people are slaves of their sense organs, they can never understand the self, they can never understand the God. When they have not yet understood themselves, how can they understand something which is beyond the sense organs? That way, all the senses have their own limitations. Look at this picture. Is this picture real or is the next picture real? You should tell me now. Is this picture real or is the next picture real? I'm going to show you the next picture. This is the next picture. Actually, this is the real picture. A picture of a pond is taken. Actually, this is the inverted picture. But when you look at this picture, you feel as the rain happening, there is wind blowing, and you can see the coconut trees. This picture, you cannot say it is a false picture. You can, this is a real one only, where coconut trees are upright only. It makes you feel that way. But actually, the second one is the real picture. Here, the coconut trees are this side, they are not seen at all. Their image is seen in the water. I am going to show you the next picture. Look at this picture. Is this real? Or I am going to show you the next picture. Is it real? I am going to show you this picture. Very beautiful. Tell me whether this is real or this is real. First one is real or second one is real. Again, second one is real. But how do I say? How do I say that whether the first one is real or second one is real? This is second one. This is first one. The hint is here at the right side. You can see a small twig here. Now the twig cannot be suspended in space. Whereas in the second picture, the twig is appearing out of water. Its root is below. So this is the hint. Now here in the second picture, it is the left side top. This is the hint that the second picture is the real picture. But if you look at the jeep here, you will feel as if, how can jeep stand here on water? And then you will say, sir, first picture itself is real. You will say that. But here, where is the image there? If the first picture is real, you will feel as if the jeep is standing is correct. It is standing on the land. But its image is visible here. How? There also, this can be a illusion for you. The only trick is observe a particular clue in the picture such that you will find out which one is that clue. That clue is this twig. This particular small twig which is coming out of the water. That is the only clue in this picture. Otherwise, you cannot really differentiate between the first picture and the second picture. That way, this is a very beautiful photograph. Look at these two pictures. You will feel as if the right side tower is more bent than the left side tower. You will feel that way. But it is the same photograph. Absolutely no difference at all. It is the same photograph, copied and pasted again. But you will feel as if the right side one is bent just because of the arrangement of the picture. Actually, in this picture, left side there is more bluish space, right side there is less bluish space. That is causing an illusion that the right side picture is more bent. Look at this picture and tell me, out of these two buildings, which building is more closest to the photographer? The one which is numbered as 1 or one which is numbered as 2? Is the building number 1 closer or the building number 2 closer? You have to observe very, very, very carefully. If you observe very, very carefully at the intersection here, at the intersection between 1 and 2, then only you will be able to say that building number 2 is closer to the photographer. Building number 1 is away. But when you look at this photograph, you will feel as if building number 1 is closer. Just you look at the photograph. Only when you observe the intermediate space or at the middle of the photograph, you will clearly be able to see the floors of this left side building. At the right side building's balconies, you will not be able to see so clearly. Then we have to come to a conclusion that building number 2 is closer to the photographer. I'll give you a small exercise now. You have to look at the chart and you have to say the color and not the word. You have to say the color. Here yellow, actually it is in green color. So you should not say yellow. You should say the color green. Then you should not say blue. You should say the color red. You should not say orange. You should say the color blue. Try out for a few seconds. Now, this is a beautiful exercise for a left-right conflict. Your right brain tries to say the color, but your left brain insists on reading the word. Reading is a thoughtful activity, whereas the right brain is a artistic one. Now, the left brain reads this English and it says this is yellow, but the right brain looks at the color and right brain becomes happy whenever it has got these colors. Left brain will be happy whenever it thinks. So it is a left-right conflict. Now this is an exercise that whether you are left-brained one or a right-brained one, if you become successful in this exercise, then you have conquered both of them. Let us say you successfully complete the exercise without even one fault for even one word. That means that you have owned both left and right brain. You are able to control both of them because you are beyond your brain. You are the user of the brain. Actually, you are not the brain. This is a very good exercise. Now, in my next slide, I have a still difficult exercise. Try this. Okay, this is more difficult. Why? In the beginning, red is red only, blue is blue only, orange is orange only, purple is purple only, orange is orange, blue is blue, green is green, red is red. But suddenly it changes. Blue is not blue, blue is green, purple is not purple, purple is red, green is not green, green is purple, red is not red, red is blue. And orange is not orange, orange is blue, blue is not blue, blue is red, and it goes on. Now you have to be very careful here. That means here initially you used predominantly red left brain only. And left and right were in sync there. Color and the word, they were in sync. They were synchronized. But gradually the pattern is mismatched. And the pattern will be continuously mismatched. Now you have to be consciously be careful to take care of your thoughts as well as your feelings. You have to consciously be careful about your left side brain's usage and right side brain's usage. Initially, this may all look like a funny exercise, but these are all basically brain exercises. These are not for funny people. These are for serious people. Now let me come to the discussion of memory utilization. Till now, whatever exercises I showed you, just to make you known that there can be illusions. Whatever we see also may not be true, and whatever we know also may not be true. And it takes a lot of effort to understand our own brain and to synchronize the left side brain and the right side brain. And at the last exercise, you will find out your own limitations. How to overcome the limitations? By the process of a sacred practice called meditation or dhyana. Dharana and dhyana. Okay, that is when I keep on saying that Patanjali is the greatest scientist on this earth, because he kept on working on the human body and the human mind in so many laborious ways. And that is when he wrote a great classical work called Yoga Sutra. And he formulated a system called Ashtanga Yoga. Let me discuss memory utilization. The process of memory is threefold: record, retain, recall. Whatever your sensory perceptions are there, they should be registered inside the brain. Then they should be retained there even for the future. And whenever required, they should be recalled. Which means the neurons will have this record and the neurons have to retain this. And gradually through the synaptic connections, the stored information should be recalled. For the neurons to record, there must be effective neural network in the brain. That means you should keep your head very much healthy. If the neurons have to retain, then you should have a habit of going through the same positive activity again and again, going through a satisfactory lifestyle again and again. going through a fulfillment and a disciplined lifestyle, then only retention will happen. And when recall will happen, recall will happen only when you are not under stress, only when you are relaxed, only when you are at peace. So all these three activities will happen only if you take care of your head in a very efficient manner. First R, record, is focus and concentrate. Don't have too many options with you, don't have too many gadgets with you. Many times more choices are making people more and more chaotic in their life. We should not have too many choices. Many times I see people having 2 mobile phones, 4 SIM cards. I really wonder what are they up to. I used to have only one mobile phone, one SIM card. Later on, I took one more SIM card only because of one I am using, Jio I am using for my data, and BSNL I am using for my call and message. That way I am switching. Anyhow, Jio is giving a monthly plan for recharge period also, 2 months, 3 months. That flexibility is there with Jio. That is the reason I am having 2 SIM cards. But I am giving only one number to all my friends and relatives. My Jio number nobody knows except me, because I am using it only for data. Now, why people have 2 mobile phones, why people have 4 SIM cards, they also don't know. Some people have one TV at the living room, one more TV at the bedroom. Some people may be having one more TV at the kitchen also. What are all they up to? We really don't know. Are they really happy or satisfied? No, absolutely no. Because more and more of choices, more and more of dilemma, more and more of confusions, more and more of only satisfying the ego itself, nothing else. Brain will be stressed out because of these multiple activities with more and more of choices. So first R is focus and concentrate. Second R is repeat and remember. Whatever you want to remember, you will have to repeat it. I have already given you a task of memorizing one particular shloka of Vishnu Sahasranama. I hope at least one shloka you can remember. And before going to bed, at least 12 times you have to chant that shloka. If you keep on doing it, you will definitely remember it for the lifetime. In the same Vishnu Sahasranama Stotram, in one of the verses, one particular word comes, Duswapna Nashanaha. Means bad dreams are destroyed. Bad dreams are destroyed by him only. Dream is basically a creative process, and you should not take your stressful awakened life into the dreaming state. So he is going to create very good dreams for you, provided you have such mindset when you go to sleep. So if you repeat and remember, that is the second R, retain. Then the third R, relax and link. Only when you are relaxed, that is when the synaptic connection is established, that is when the linking is happening, and whatever is recalled in the brain, that is coming out of your speech or your action. So focus and concentrate, repeat and remember, relax and link. This requires lot of planning, lot of self-discipline, lot of effective utilization of time. Time, T-I-M-E, the infinite moment of energy. Those who pass the time get failed by the time. Hence the 3 R's correspond to Shravana, effective listening; Manana, reasoning and storing; Nididhyasana, recalling and utilizing. Whenever you listen, effectively listen. Whenever you are listening, you don't ask. You ask only when the time comes for you to ask. Otherwise, better listen. Effective listening, that is Shravana. After Shravana, Manana, whatever you listened, you reason it and you store it. If you don't do effective listening, you will never be able to reason out, and you will never be able to store it. If you effectively listened, then effectively understood, only then you will be able to recall it and utilize it. That is called nididhyasana. You will be able to store something only when you effectively listen. You will be able to understand something only when you effectively listen. Many times people who do not effectively listen to me, they keep on asking the same questions again and again and again. Because they may be having 2 mobile phones around them, 4 SIM cards around them. They may be watching a TV also right now, and they will have multitasking there. Remember, your brain can do only one thing at a time. You can only switch between tasks faster. When I told that women can do multitasking, it does not mean that at a time they are doing 2 tasks. Actually, they will be switching between 2 tasks, that's all. There is nothing called multitasking. There is only fragmented tasking. Brain can do only one thing at a time. Brain cannot do multiple things at a time. Because ultimately brain is one. Neurons are billions. Networks are billions. You are one only, no? Are you two? Right now you are one only. When you are one, you can do only one thing at a time. When you are one, how can you do 2 things at a time? You may say that we have 2 hands, sir. With the 2 hands, you can do only one thing at a time. Switching is faster. I gave an exercises of 4 sets of exercises, no? Where right fist, left fist, all those things. Try out and tell me tomorrow's session about how it worked out. So effective listening, then effective understanding, reasoning and storing, then effective recalling and utilizing. This is called Shravana, Manana and Nididhyasana. The bigger mind. I have told you about the 4 antakarana. Manas, or the thinking part, in English it is called mind. Chitta, or the storing part, in English it is called memory. Buddhi, or the deciding part, in English it is called intellect. And ahankara, the controlling part, in English it is called ego. So this ego is basically a chemistry. Again, ego has got 3 dimensions, but I cannot tell you now. That I am keeping for discussion for my next presentation only. You may keep on telling that, sir, whatever you are going to tell in the next presentation only. Correct. All the spiritual things I am going to tell in the next presentation only, because it is a bigger discussion there. So ego is basically brain chemistry, whereas intellect, memory, mind, memory is multiple dimensions. Memory can be of 3 parts, namely physical memory, astral memory and causal memory. Mind is called as a kosha called manomaya kosha. Intellect is called as a kosha called vijnanamaya kosha. So mind and intellect are not in the brain at all. Because of the mind and intellect, brain is working, that's all. Mind and intellect are not in the brain at all. Ego is very much in the brain only. Memory can be in the brain. Memory can be beyond the brain also. I have told you about the plants which they have memory. Plants don't have brain at all. All these are using the brain within the brain. That is why in yoga we say it is Panchakosha, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. They are called sheaths. They are not layers. They are called sheaths. They are within each other. And all these antakaranas, they are called inner organs. They are actually using the brain, but within the brain itself. So what is the way to forget? If at all there is something negative, let us say there is something paining, and if you have to forget, what is the way to forget? The only way to forget is to dissociate. I had told you in the beginning, the more and more you try to forget something, you will be recalling it more and more time. When you recall it more and more time, you are going to remember more and more time. That means if at all you want to forget something, the only way is to dissociate, and the only way to remember is to associate. You should decide what to do with what. What you want to remember, what you want to forget, you should decide. That is where the role of the intellect comes into picture. You should be trained to use your intellect in a better way. That is when yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana. That is the sequence where you should decide what to forget, you should decide what to remember. Somebody asked me how to have a thought control. Now I should tell, you should decide that you should have a thought control. That is you who are going to decide what to think, what not to think. Now, how you decide? You decide what to remember, what to forget. Now, how do you forget? Just dissociate. How to remember? Just associate. Whatever is related, whatever is continuous, whatever you keep on recalling, naturally you will remember. Whatever you dissociate, whatever you simply don't relate yourself with, you will simply forget. You should decide what to do with what. People keep saying that the social media is bad. People keep saying that this Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, they are all bad. People keep saying that excessive TV watching, so many channels, they are also bad. But even I have TV at home, even I use WhatsApp, even I am active on Facebook. It is up to me to use Facebook in what way. It is up to me to use WhatsApp in what way. It is up to me to watch which channel in the television. It is ultimately my decision only. Now, if it is ultimately my decision only, why should I blame the television? Why should I blame the social media? Why? उद्धरेत आत्मना आत्मानं न आत्मानं अवसादयेत आत्मैमहि आत्मनो बन्धुः आत्मैव रिपुः आत्मनः. So the only way to forget is to dissociate. The only way to remember is to associate. You should decide what to do with what. Ultimately, you are the owner of your karma. Respect the brain. It is divine. Remember, the brain never sleeps. The sense organs sleep. The body sleeps. The brain never sleeps. Neurons never sleep. Neurons are always active. Don't turn your brain into a trash basket. In my earlier presentation, I had told, don't turn your stomach into a trash basket. Now I am telling, don't turn your brain into a trash basket. Be careful about what you store in the brain, because brain is basically divine. With this message, I'll stop my session for today. Let us meet tomorrow. Until then, take care and bye-bye.